nigga to walk that I'm blessed. See the love I got on my flex, I'm so blessed. 20K just on my chain, you say less. Text every day to get dressed, so blessed. Being through the storm and the rain, still blessed. Had a couple heartaches and pain, still blessed. Handle the pressure from fame, still blessed. God called my name, so blessed.
Yes, sir, I'm blessed on Playboy, cause I got a man. Tailor made just for this fit, I'm gonna cut the slack.
Welcome back to another episode of the Cobain Report. I am Rock Cobain. This is
Caesar.
I have another week. We have our guest, Quinn Bell.
Bell, hey guys.
What's up, Doc? And Caesar, go ahead and give the intro this week. Who do we have?
What?
Who do we have here?
I get the intro
You
time.
get the intro. It's no
Check
T-Mail.
this out then.
No
This is
T-Mail.
going to
It's
be
no
really,
T-Mail.
really fun. So
go.
check it out. We have today with us, like this grant. It just popped out of nowhere. But let me introduce.
Come on, Pastor.
First, let me say this is one of my first friends. One of my first friends, and he is my cousin. Wow. So I'm proud to say he's my cousin because this guy here is
100%.
amazing. He is a champion. All right? He has 235 fights. Okay? When we were growing up, he was into martial arts, jiu-jitsu.
Was he whooping your ass?
as
Wrestling,
well, and
taekwondo.
wrestling. All right. He is top 10 fastest KO fighter. You hear me?
I do hear you.
He's the top 10, bro. The fastest dropping a nigga, all right?
I watched the video.
Four-time
Detroit, that matters a
world
lot.
champion.
Four times.
Four-time
I didn't know that part.
world
Yeah.
champion. All right?
Yeah.
Y'all
I
get
didn't know
that
that
part?
now. I didn't know
watch
that now.
this. He's a one-time international champion.
All right.
Oh, that went crazy, huh?
Speak, Reverend.
I said this my little cousin.
Shout
Speak,
out,
Reverend.
shout out to Canada.
Okay, Canada.
Ooh, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open the floor to allow. I like that right there, huh? All right, okay. But look, I'm gonna allow this guy,
Come on, Pastor.
the great, the amazing, the MMA fighter, the
Yes.
martial artist, Tony Lionheart Harvey is in the motherfucking house.
Welcome to the Cobain Report.
My
welcome.
goodness.
Nice to have you here, brother.
Much love, much love. Thank you very much for having me.
For sure, man. For
So
sure.
before we came on camera, I'm jumping right into the heat.
I love it.
Before we came on camera, this brother made a statement.
Pretty didactical
A
stuff.
pretty dynamic statement,
Yeah.
Brother Bell was
Diabolical,
Diabolical statement. This brother said, I'm gonna let this brother tell you. So he said he does not whoop his children because he is
Never.
an MMA fighter, and he feels like what? Go ahead. You feel like what? That's abuse or what?
Oh no, do I feel like it's abuse?
Yeah,
I
what do
never
you think?
had to. I never had to, and I'm telling you, I never had to whoop anybody else's kids either.
For sure.
However, that doesn't mean I can't get it out at the gym.
Okay.
That means that just because I don't whoop you, my demeanor, my presence is enough.
As a father.
Yes.
All right, so I had to get y'all on that because we jumped right into that.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna do this the right way.
That was
Caesar, go ahead,
live.
right? I had to get
It was
You ain't
live.
come on and say you don't whoop no black kids.
We
You don't
like,
tell us why. We
what?
whoop black kids, right?
I don't whoop nobody unless I'm getting paid. Bottom line.
Okay, that sounds like prostitution. It's like, welcome to the
He's
Cobain Report.
prostituting ass whooping.
Nice to have you here. We've never had an MMA fighter
Okay. Right
on the
on.
Cobain Report, so I am so grateful for you to come by and stop by.
Much
So
appreciated.
that way we can kind of just let our audience know a little bit more in depth, widen, I guess, our audience a little bit.
Definitely.
So,
Yeah.
Caesar, I'm gonna let you go ahead and guide us into this. No diddler. Go ahead.
No dealing.
No diddy.
We
No
can't
doubt.
say certain things
No
like this no
diddy.
more, guys. I'm just getting back from LA. I'm confused. Listen, shit's confusing me right now. All right, but look. So listen, man. Let's go back. We're gonna go back. We're gonna start first, and then we're gonna get into all the MMA.
Okay.
Where did it really start from? Did it start for you outside because you were bad? Did it start from like, oh, mom, let me
You're a
go and
boxer?
go?
You started a boxer,
Yeah,
or
that's
you're a
what I'm
fighter,
trying
or
to
what are
see.
you?
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
MMA fighter?
But if did it start off just fighting at school?
Okay.
Like, what was it?
So
Like,
take us on a journey.
Wow.
what led
okay.
you here?
So let's start with this.
You grew up where?
I grew up. We started off Detroit. Then we moved out of Detroit. We ended up going to like Macomb at the
Okay.
time. So I'm like middle school. Middle school, we end up moving to Roseville.
So you're really from Detroit. Like you're originally from Detroit.
Born and raised.
East side.
MMA
East side.
fighter that I just watched
100%.
on pay-per-views and all that stuff, and you're really from the city limits of Detroit.
100%. I was at over by Osborne.
Okay.
7 Mile in Westphalia.
So where did your training start at? Like, oh, Westphalia, that's Wheezy Hood. Yeah,
Westphalia.
yeah.
That was where I lived. Yeah.
So where did your training start, or did it start like just from fighting, or did you notice that when you were growing up, like you liked to fight, or how did you get into it?
I got whoopings.
We all do.
We got beatings.
I
Did you
got
get 'em?
beat.
I got him. Did you get him?
I got
we
shout
all
out
did
to
you
Brenda
get 'em? What's
Hutchins.
good for the goose is good for the Holy Ghost. Amen. Go ahead.
So no,
Get the
And
run.
the gander get you. The gander shoot. Anyway, go ahead.
it
Keep
started
the
in
party going.
sports. Like, so I originally played football, but I was terrible at football when I first originally started.
Did you feel like you had a lot of aggression or anger?
Yes.
Okay, so you took
I was
it
a
out through
hostile
sports?
type of person. I was angry to a point where people couldn't exactly tell me. You know, they would say, "Oh, you need therapy," that type of thing.
Yeah.
But
Hold on. What year were they talking about therapy with you?
shoot, I was middle school.
That was the 90s.
Yeah.
So you know they didn't introduce
this
blacks
is
to
nice.
that to about 2000. So you had to be bad as hell.
Oh, no,
If they
I-
was telling you to go to the white folk version, you was bad as hell. Because they introduced Negroes. You know we get stuff delayed, stipend, stimulus, everything. So if they was on you
Oh,
early,
man.
you was bad than a motherfucker. Go ahead,
Wow.
keep the party going.
Now that you say that.
You know
We're
what
ju-
I mean? Because they
think-
weren't
I
introducing
think-
black folk to that.
Well,
Wait a
if
minute.
they were more educated. On
Yeah,
that side.
because we moved out.
Yeah, they
we
out.
moved
Oh, yeah,
out.
you guys went to
and
the
so we
store,
were
so you
in
were around
a
the
we
white
were in a
folk. Go ahead,
more
keep the party. Yep, keep it
more
going. Sound all right.
let's just say Caucasian
Yeah.
area. So we were
So
in
they
that
paying
type
attention.
of area. So
Yeah.
back then in the 90s, your mother could come in and she could whoop you in school and beat.
Oh, yeah.
go about her
cool.
day. Now she did that out there. You can't do that out there.
No, you can't do that out
Okay,
there.
so then we had to go through therapy and everything like that. So moving forward, okay, we're in middle school, going to junior high, so we're in Roseville. I never really been in any real fights. Okay, so growing up in high school,
mean like street fights?
Street fights. I got in maybe a handful, but that's when I was on the hood side.
Right.
So when I'm on the hood side, I actually been in maybe about a handful of fights.
We were wrestlers.
wrestlers.
Grapplers. as they
Yeah,
call
we
it.
wanted to wrestle all the time.
Grapplers.
So
Junkyard
like
dog.
the only time that I ever been in a serious fight, and I say serious, was when me and my cousin back to back.
For sure.
All right, I'm getting jumped for Jordans, like legit.
Oh,
not even
yeah.
getting jumped for
1,000%.
anything
This
else.
is in the 90s for sure.
Yes.
1,000%.
This is in the 90s
Yo,
for sure.
and I'm telling you, my dude rolled up like Debo on a bike, and he had about 9 other brothers with him. So at that particular time, I'm looking at it like, what are we gonna do? He looked me dead in the face. I looked him dead in the face. Well, we scrapping.
Oh, we going
So we threw down.
down with my same. Yeah,
We
for
threw
sure.
down, and then it didn't stop. Like we lumped them up as best we could. They got away with one shoe. That's it.
For sure.
That's
One
it.
shoe. You niggas came.
Hey man, let me elaborate on that.
Yes,
so
please,
by all means.
it was so crazy because I'm his cousin that this shit happened with.
Yeah.
So I thought these was his friends. Mind
with us like
he
that?
just
I said
told
I'm
me-
quick than the one.
Yeah, he just told
He
me
ain't
we
too
in
friendly.
Roseville, bro. So these is they like some mixed kids. So it's like black and white.
Wow.
Like,
Oh, yeah,
they
it was mixed.
So like they rolling up on him, and I asked him, I'm like, ain't these your friends?
Oh nah.
He like I don't know what's going on. Get my first thing is, nigga, I'm from the east side from Warren. Hit back to back. It's too many of them.
Yeah.
Let's go back to back.
Yeah.
And nigga, we going back to back. We about to win. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get knocked in because there's a lot of them, but we about to win because we can't fall. You get it? So him being that first fight, oh man, that opened up doors to taking it to the east side.
And they said-
I ain't do the MMAs.
I learned a lot of skills from that dead baby.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this, man. In the appearance of everything in the professional arena of MMA, I have to give you a shout out to be as successful as you are as a black man in what it looks to be a white man's dominated sport.
Yeah, for
man.
sure.
Man,
Talk about
shout out
that.
to you, man.
Have you
Shout out
seen
to
any
you.
racism
All
in
those
MMA?
wins? Yeah.
Racism.
Any
in
racism
MMA.
or any kind of like
Wow.
any kind of like anything that you felt like wasn't equally yoked, as we would say in the church world? This
So
the
if you
bridge.
look at my record, okay,
You whooped some.
Yeah,
You
no
whooped a lot of ass though.
You look at my record, you're gonna see like what looks like a 50-50 situation. I've been very fortunate, never been knocked out. I've knocked out 80% of everybody that I ever fought. Okay. Now on a serious tip, you will either fight me and you'll come out with a decision, but you'll know you've been in a fight with me. Okay. Bottom line is though, there's been times where I fought, like when I went to London, I beat that dude. And I legitimately had a strategy and a game plan, and I beat him. And then I'm being told, you didn't win that fight. He's a hometown favorite, and that's all I'm hearing.
What fight we talking about so they can Google it?
Oh yeah, you want to watch Colin Fletcher against Lionheart Tony Hervey?
Yeah,
Colin Fletcher from London. He's got like a big old spider tattoo around his neck and everything. I got to give him props. I mean, he lasted as best as he could, but I actually hit him. I stunned him, had him wobbling. And I couldn't capitalize on finishing it, you know. But we made it out, and that should have been a split decision, but they didn't. Then there was a time, and earlier on, I fought Takanori Gomi, who was at the time ranked number 2 in the world. Okay, I went 5 rounds with this dude. Okay, Takanori Gomi was top tier at that time. Okay, so he's fought everything from like Kenny Florian. He's fought Nick Diaz, and like he's fought some big names. And then when I finally get to him, I'm 23 years old at that time. Okay, so I'm fighting a guy who's already considered a legend, and I'm going to bat with him. Now this guy taught me everything I needed to know about the sport. Okay, I've never been hit so hard in my life. I got hit to the point where my face felt like it melted. It was just gone. And you'll see it, but I knew for a fact he will remember me. Okay? I was just telling the person over here at the establishment.
Nice media.
Yes, please. And I was telling him, like, I flew 18 hours. And within the first 15 seconds of that fight, I'm on my back getting ready to get choked out.
That's crazy.
And I'm sitting here having a talk with me and the lights,
right?
Saying I didn't come all the way out here
get embarrassed
to lose.
In 15 seconds. Good.
Somehow we turned that back around. Now to answer your question, in the past, what led me to this? I worked at a gym. I basically lived on my own at the time. Okay, me and the family never really had a good relationship, so I've been kind of on my own ever since I was 16. Then moving forward after that, there was a group in my gym at the time. I was at Powerhouse Gym off of 16 Mile, and I used to work there. And the group came in. That was Eastside Combat Club. Eastside Combat Club, shout out to Brendan Seguin. He's the man. He got me started. Okay, I walked in there, and I asked him, this is like me fresh out of high school, like within a couple months. And I'm like, you guys need a lightweight. After I said that, it was like they absorbed it. They were like, come on in. So
you're right. Do what we're missing.
Do it, did I like?
And I remember just from that point on, we went everywhere from strip clubs to like, I didn't go with them all the time, to the truck stops and to like the private parties that I end up fighting in. I wanted to get as much experience as possible. Okay. So when you're like fighting grown men and you're only 19 years old, you know what I'm saying? My very first like actual amateur fight was at Kerry Roop's place off in Rochester Hills. And he, if I'm not mistaken, he was a kickboxing champion. And I remember fighting my first sanctioned fight over there. And I still got it on VHS. That's how old it is.
VHS.
Okay?
Damn.
That's
I
how
heard
old
that
it
shit
is.
so long.
So
That's like free nights and weekends around this motherfucker.
Right, and then he already said the truck stop. I'm like, okay, what we got going on?
That sounded a little
That sounded like y'all should have
I was trying to
called
let
me.
him cook. I was trying to let him cook.
Let him finish his dish.
You know, so then
It's just crazy.
first time I ever let my hands go, you know, and I actually hit somebody. And I remember hitting him. I hit him so hard, he became my friend after that.
Wow.
Right, like, hey, nigga, you said we going on big boys.
Hey, they told me.
Hey, so look, but look,
So look, punched you.
Okay.
What you doing?
So what was your first fight like? And how did it feel actually like getting into that cage under those lights for your first fight?
Wow. So, okay, so we're based out of Detroit. This is where we are.
Detroit. Shout out to
So
Detroit.
we got the Silver Dome and the Palace back then.
Nigga, you old.
I fought at both of them.
For sure.
You
Okay.
old as hell
100%.
like me. Cause
Wow,
I remember
my man
too.
called me old just
This
because
nigga
this
said
gray
the
is on my
Silver Dome.
face.
Pontiac Silver Dome, nigga. We talking
It's
like
wild, huh?
WWE 3. WWE 3. World Wrestling, some shit. Whatever it's called.
So tell me this. So out of all of the successes inside of your career, what was the greatest bodily injury you ever sustained in your profession?
I got stitches once. Right in my forehead.
Oh, you wasn't playing. That ain't nothing though.
That's it.
Are you serious?
That's serious.
I'm
Yeah,
your
he was
friend.
whooping ass,
I'm your friend forever.
Yo.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was whooping ass.
Yo.
He was whooping ass.
Hey,
That's
listen.
all.
There's like so many crazy stories I could tell you.
I think you got more
But-
whoopings. You got more ass whoopings than you got beat up.
As a kid, as a kid, right? That's what you said.
Yo,
Maybe you should ask him that. Where the bruises at?
Yeah.
where the bruises at?
I mean, because I would like you walking in here, you probably make he's a personal trainer or something. You know,
Yeah.
just like off look.
Yeah, 'cause you
you
definitely
don't
gotta
look
look,
like the man who bears that many victories. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to have some kind of sustainable injury. You don't limp, you talk.
Right.
You know, very,
He ain't got
articulate.
cauliflower
You know,
ears.
like none of that stuff, man.
No,
Like
for
you
real
had the
though.
Holyfield.
I'm gonna be real. When I stepped into this game, there's two things that happened. Okay, I was in the military too.
Oh,
now
okay.
I wanted to be special forces when I joined the military. That was my game plan. So I was like the guy that was doing 200 push-ups in 2 minutes. Okay, so I still hold that record. Now,
Yeah, but you was talking about 80 in here.
oh yeah, look, yo, age ain't nothing but a number.
I said 2. I said 2, by the way. I can do
that's
2
crazy.
team.
I got 3 more on you though. I feel like you can get 5.
You can do 5.
No, you can do 5. I believe in you.
Mind your business.
I'm just
Mind
saying.
your
man.
business.
I really believe
Go
in you.
ahead.
Oh man, where was I at? Shoot.
About the first fight?
So
Oh, yeah.
First
I was
fight,
like-
yeah.
That's what I was asking about. First fight.
first
How
pro
they feel under
fight,
those lights. Yeah. In the cage,
first pro
stepping in the
fight, I
cage.
lost.
You lost
Guy
it?
came in and literally like this is how I knew I was still not understanding the game because like you go from high school doing the sport, okay? There's a whole bunch of different things that happen to you in this whole entire game. But I'm gonna start with this. When I fought this guy for the first time, his name was Billy Vaughn, okay, from Chicago. He went to and he wrestled. If I'm not mistaken, he wrestled college and everything like that. I'm like, I'm a wrestler. This guy ain't gonna hurt me. I'm thinking everything is cool. My man came in the first couple seconds in the fight. As soon as the ref says go, my man dove at my ankle, and I didn't have enough time to stop it. He just went crack. That was it. Then he did the same thing to my other ankle, and literally I was in an air cast after that.
Damn.
So it was almost like
How
you
long
rolled
did
your
the
ankle.
first fight last?
Maybe not even the first round. I don't even. I can tell you right now, I didn't even get out the
Maybe
first
not
5
even the
minutes.
first
First
round.
minute.
That motherfucker said, "Deef."
You know,
Shock me, my leg.
Hey, what they call him in the WWE? They got a smash match.
Oh, my-
You in with Goldberg.
yo. And what's so crazy is like,
Yeah,
That's
cooked.
wild, bro.
I wouldn't go for one. I
Yo.
wouldn't even go. So you better man than me.
So was that
I
like
ain't
the
going.
was that
40
one of your
million.
toughest fights?
no, I felt stupid. But see, I'm the type of person that's like, I learn after the first time.
Okay.
So I don't just take that type of disrespect lightly.
Yeah.
So from that point on, that was me turning pro. So I turned pro in like 2007, 2008. Okay.
Right.
And my first pro fight, I take a L. I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna happen again. So I went on a killing spree right after that. So after that, it was like one after another, we knocking them out. And we're trying to get them out. So a lot of times, I would say like the toughest fights that I've had where I actually got beat, like I couldn't fight this guy off of me, was when I earned my name. So when they shouted out Lionheart, that's how I got my name.
Okay.
Because you wouldn't quit.
I wouldn't
He
quit.
was whooping that
And
ass.
what was the fighter's name?
I don't remember that dude.
Woo,
Dude,
that's
I'll
how
tell
you know
And
you
nigga
beat
said, y'all cannot watch that on
Yeah,
YouTube.
he like, hey, I
Yo,
beat him
don't
so bad.
go watch
he
that.
forgot him, and I forgot
And
him.
I forgot him too.
He beat me. He beat me so bad in the first round. It was like he came out of bad out of hell, right? So my man hit me with every punch, kick, elbow. They didn't care. We're fighting in a strip club, so headbutts is legal, stomps to the face is legal. It's all good.
Your first pro fight was in a strip club?
Oh, that wasn't the pro fight.
Oh.
This was when I earned my name, which is after that fight.
His toughest fight.
Yeah,
Right. It was in the
So-
streets?
Nah, this one was at a strip club, man.
But why was it at a strip club?
'Cause,
That's
like-
where it was booked at a strip club?
Yeah, it was at a strip
That's
club.
crazy
Yeah.
work.
Hey, you gotta
It was
flow where
full
you can go.
nude and
Hell yeah.
everything. It was outside of a truck stop. We're in Iowa.
That's crazy.
It's
And
the
they got
truck
y'all out there
stop for
scrapping?
me.
Oh yeah, I remember that because it was a tournament, and back then we used to have what is called super fights, and super fights used to be like an actual fight promotion.
Y'all use boxing gloves and bare knuckle, was it?
Oh no, we used 4-ounce gloves.
Okay, for sure. I'm just
4-ounce
trying to see, was this
Ooh,
more like
I don't know if you guys
Should
know
we do
about
this in
ounces
Detroit?
and gloves. So you do have like the
ounces,
4,
yeah.
6,
6, 8,
10s,
Yeah,
16s.
Yep.
You want to fight with some 16s if you really don't want to get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 12s, if you
That's
know.
crazy word.
But when you start going into 10, oh man, think about those faces. Shit, them knuckles. That's
Bare
all
knuckle fights.
yeah,
I've been in a
that's
few
crazy.
of those, but not actual sanctioned bare knuckle fights. Okay, so like I want to bare knuckle before I actually retire. That's the plan. So bare knuckle is coming up. One of my buddies who fights out at Randy Couture's gym, like he actually did a bare knuckle fight. Now me and him were talking about it when both of our boys go to high school together. So he's like one of my training partners, and shout out to Justin James. And but I remember talking to him, having that conversation. He was like, "Man, I ain't doing that." I was like, "Yo, I'm doing it."
So what's inspiring you to want to do a bare knuckle fight?
That's a good question.
Especially with you being older.
Yeah,
like me.
and you I'm 40.
I'm 41.
So I know
I'll be
39.
41.
my point. You're
44, yo.
Damn, we older than you?
yes,
Yeah.
bro. Listen, this is my younger cousin. I'm
Yo.
confused.
And I'm looking all like I'm looking, and you looking like
I don't even want to fight outside no more. I'm tired of fighting.
You got
My
a damn
hands
book. I
hurt.
ain't got a damn scrap in here. So we even in my book.
Fair enough.
No, dude.
Yo, what's got me motivated, dude, is because like you can't end your game. I've been the toughest man I've known. People come to me to try to beat me, and then they go to the UFC right after that. So my thing is, I've heard in the past that they call me a gatekeeper. I'm not happy about that. However, it's happened to a couple of people that I fought. All of a sudden, they went to the UFC after the decision. Whatever. So,
Well, you know, talking to you, looking at the perspective of just the way you're able to articulate things. Obviously, you've developed a great psychology for this. So, I guess I'm asking, when did the wisdom of your psychology that you use now, what fight did it finally kick in? Because I mean, you just seem so
When did you feel like you figured it
calculated,
out?
so strategic.
Oh,
like
yeah.
if I didn't picture you being an MMA fighter, I can picture you being like a serial killing. You know what I'm saying? Like
A serial killer.
like a
Professional
hitman,
hitman.
like a
In the
hitman for the government. You know what I'm saying? Like
Professional hitman.
You know what
In
I'm
the
saying?
dare.
Because you have so many ways. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you have so many ways to get it done.
yeah.
And so, like anybody who can like look at people and kind of analyze, you can see.
So
that.
when
Like,
did you feel like you really figured it out though?
yeah,
Around
what
which
fight
fight?
was like? Okay, I got this. Because I mean, after that, it just gave you literal repeat victories over and
And
over
then
again.
I'm gonna double down on that. Like, with you being at that point in time, right? Feeling like you figured it out. If it was a strategy or something that you would tell somebody, what would it be?
Okay, so you guys layered that. So I'm gonna go back to you real quick, and then I'm gonna come back to you. So when did it happen? When I realized where I was at, like mentally understood the game. I had 3 senseis ever in my life. Okay, that's it. Okay, one moved away. Unfortunately, he's in Alaska. The other one, he's retired, and then my other one passed away. So they were the cornerstone of my foundation. Okay. Now, to develop the combat science, the fighter IQ, I've been training for years, but I am what you call a Ronin. Okay. I don't really praise any other senseis or anything like that. I had basically like these founding fathers that looked over me, and they shared that wisdom, kind of like the Avatar type of deal. Okay. Then when you double down and you're like, when we're like, how did I, or when did I get to this point? I realized it when I took a step away from the fight game. When I took away, because like you're looking at like, this is a culmination of a man that like came from, I'm super angry, I was hot, I was just ready to kill everything that walked. To I went through a psychological problem where it's like I couldn't realize who the man that I was, because I realized that I'm hurting certain people, and I didn't want to hurt people, which is strange. You wanted to do the sport. That's it. I wanted to do the sport. Now, to add to that,
Oh yeah, the sport, but times the actual hurting of somebody messes with your brain.
it did. And it hurt so
Taps into
bad.
your
I actually went
realistic
to acting school for a little while to try to understand a little bit about how to become a character, because I needed to divide my humanity
Yeah, for sure.
to move into saying every time they say, you ready, let's fight, I had to turn my psyche off, and I have a mantra that I do to walk down into the cage, and I can turn it off. So when I become my animal, when I become unleashed, for lack of better words, the whole point to this is to make sure that he survives, but I'm going to do my job. That's all. I'm just doing my job.
So there really is a button to beast mode.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's fine.
What is a training camp?
But hey, listen, but I don't know if you guys heard that. That's called controlling your emotion, and that is the greatest power. No, that is the greatest power to ever.
But a lot of men struggle with that, though. A lot of people struggle with that, but I know a lot of men struggle with that more because ego outweighs that.
100%.
When that ego kick in and you can't control that ego, all that emotion shit go out the window.
You said it.
All that like common sense, it go out the window. It's all based off the ego, bro.
That's wild.
What does a training camp look like for you? Being that you have to compartmentalize the way you do.
So currently right now, I'm within 4 weeks of my 6-week program. Okay. Now, a training camp, it depends on what the requirements are. So for me, let's say we're just doing the fitness portion of things. Fitness portion means I wake up at 4 a.m. every day, but I want to go to the gym and start working out by 5 a.m. Okay. I do like a lifting program. I do a swimming program. I do a running program. Then I get into the foundations of like the martial arts part, technique only. And then I move beyond that. So when we're talking about like a fight camp to get ready for a game, for an actual fight, what I would do with fighters is I would help them understand psyche. You know how football we watch film, right? 100%. Fighters need to watch film. Right. You know, and you need to start thinking about and emulating the type of fighter that you want to be. So with me, I was very fortunate because, I mean, I grew up as a breakdancer. So dancing was my thing. You know,
dancing?
Jitting was my thing. Dancing was my thing. So, you know, some people have a quirk. And, like, I noticed that nobody in society really dance no more unless it depends on where you're at. These younger kids don't even dance. That's it.
Gang dancing, yeah, for sure.
You know? And they got TikTok dances, but that's not real dancing. You know? So I used to be in battles doing actual dancing, but that helped me understand me, you know? But I try to employ that into the fight game. So, like, everything from capoeira to, like...
Capoeira, I heard that. That's the African-American study of martial arts, right? Yeah, when they do a dance, it look more like dancing.
It's a dance, but that stuff's
Boy,
real.
they lay you out.
It's real. But I grew up doing that. And then, like, so when you're looking at, like, a 6-week training camp, 2-week training camp, I'm going to tell you one thing that my sensei said, okay? Done before it's due. So you always got to be ready before you have to be ready.
Done before it's due.
Proper preparation, speed. He said it earlier.
I think the stash can't say it right. Let me help the stash. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Give him a few weeks with the stash, guys.
Yeah, it's like getting new teeth. Anyway, so yeah. So I want to move this into a type of portion because you seem like a real disciplined man, right? So I want to bounce some topics off you and see what you think.
Okay.
What you think about this little Dirk indictment?
Dirk. I don't know nothing about it. You have to forgive
me. Too disciplined to know about Dirk.
He listens to house music, bro. He says he's a breakdancer.
Hold on, pause. Nah. Yo, so when you talk about real world events, topics and events, okay, so the only thing that I'm currently on right now, okay?
Dietrich Hatton?
No.
But you do know Dietrich Hatton.
No.
Yeah, you do. You was there.
VOU? Go ahead.
So all I got to say is you guys probably got current events. I'm a brother that stays under the wire. I only pay attention to myself and the family, and that's it. If it's anything that's outside of that bubble, unless it has any real impact to me, which the presidential thing is like on my thing right now. It's on my radar. And to be honest with you,
what you think about him running again in 2028?
Oh, hell no. Get him the fuck out now.
They're trying to make it an oligarchy.
What do you feel? What do you feel about him talking about Harlem loves me?
Harlem love you.
Yeah, when they was talking about Harvard.
Yo.
That was crazy, huh?
Listen, I'm going to put you on some game real quick.
Okay.
So when I was growing up, and I'm going to say it from my perspective because like I feel like everybody else had a different look, a different view. So we're talking from my perspective here. I grew up thinking that you know, we had Reading Rainbow. We had people saying you could be whatever you want to be in the world. And then the number one thing that they kept on always saying, you could be the president too. They used to want to inspire back in the 90s, 80s, late 80s, 90s. They were trying to inspire people to become things and become better. So the way that I view a person that's supposed to be our president, he's supposed to have the demeanor, the emotional intelligence. He's supposed to have the candor. He's supposed to have the trust, the honesty. I wouldn't even trust this man to honestly to cut my grass. Okay, I'm gonna be completely real. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I understand everybody else has their views. Look at all the views that he has. I don't care. I'm looking at the man. I'm looking at the man.
I don't like orange people. I'm black. It's like, no.
Yo, I'm just looking at the man because when it comes down to it, us as people, we understand positive and negative. There ain't no real color in that. Okay, so we played. I play transparent. So when you were asking about like any racism in the sport, look, I've been very fortunate that I've come from a biracial relationship. Okay, but I've also had black family too. So on both sides,
you're a product of a biracial relationship, is what you're saying?
No, I'm not.
Okay,
actually,
you saying you've been in a
correct.
biracial relationship?
My parents got together, so they were both black. My mother married.
So, that makes me go ask another question. So what's that? Do you prefer white women over black women or what?
Wow, I'm married to a white woman.
That's the reason I'm asking this because you sound very astute, very educated. So it's, I feel like you would. This is my personal opinion, right? I'm just being an asshole. I feel like you would favor white women over black women.
Wow. See,
I feel like
I don't ever get on the chopping block for this, but I'm gonna be completely.
I'm gonna be completely
transparent with you. on one hand, no, I haven't had that many opportunities with black women. I'll be real.
Wait, you said with black women?
Yes.
So you've had more relationships with Caucasian women?
Opportunities, he's saying.
Mixed.
Okay.
Mixed.
Yes, I hear you.
So I have a mixed bundle in my bag. So
what do you prefer?
Man. Japanese, does that count?
Whoa. Yes, it does.
So you don't prefer soul sisters.
The reason is because I've been, like I said, I had the opportunity of coming into biracial.
Okay.
Parents are black, mother married white, father married black. I got to see both sides. But I'm also very neutral in the sense of I didn't care unless they had the right personality.
Right. That matters to me a lot too.
And the way that women kind of portray themselves, depending on how they portray themselves, would either attract me.
Now, that's the real topic because the reason I'm saying that is because, I had this conversation with a female this week because, the more that I feel like I go up on a ladder in my career and my success, right, I have less candidates from my history, right, from
your old profile,
right. So, and when I say less candidates, it means people that I feel like that I'm equally yoked to, right? So I have a couple degrees, I do those things. I'm a director in my job, like everybody knows. You know what I'm saying? I like to be Steve Urkel on camera, but I really got my shit together. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
So having a female that matches that energy for me is hard to find, right? So I was talking to a senator for a minute. I was talking to a couple lawyers, you know what I mean? But they wasn't street enough for me. I still like a little spice. I still like somebody that can. So it's tough, you know. So I'm having this conversation with you, but I'm really not just picking on you.
No, I follow
because I feel as if the higher we get up in certain areas, it is sometimes hard to find that partner that you feel like you're equally yoked with. Because I don't want to see somebody walking around in a bonnet and a quick wig and all that kind of stuff all the time.
Ooh, Hey, y'all heard he used my jam, the quick wig.
Quick wig.
That's where like the stuff and stuff. Yeah, right? I don't always want to see that.
Yo, now that you say that, I mean, on one hand, I get it. I love women that are natural.
100%.
Okay, natural makes more sense.
I'm more in the black brothers.
But when you start snatching out weaves, and then by the time you hit your like late 40s and everything like that, and you bald head, and I'm kind of looking at you strange. I don't need.
I'm bald head too, though.
Yo, so you can have that.
Yeah, she can have
bald head if you want, but I need the hair.
Yeah,
I like to play.
So I don't know, bro.
Because I smack the dog smack out the back of that head. That motherfucker. You want it, Bob? I can't grab it.
I can stab it. Anyway,
Oh, no.
everywhere you
Y'all
want me to.
Y'all know Caesar crazy.
All that good
But
stuff.
I don't know, bro. I didn't mean to put you out there like that.
no,
but,
I'm
but
straight.
that,
It's
that really
cool.
felt good. What about
Yeah,
you,
yeah, for
Quinn?
sure.
You a
What-
person
what-
that makes.
I'll-
You a brother too that got your paper together.
I'll
What you
say,
think?
shout out to my black queen. I'm married, lady named LaDonna Bell, almost 10 years in the game.
Bad. I'm at 20.
And a lot
Married?
of times,
Yeah.
well,
You married to a sister?
Nope. My wife's
20
white.
years and married to a white
Shout
woman.
out to Julie.
Shout out to
Shout out
Julie.
Julie.
yeah,
Yeah.
He
for
said it
sure.
like that. Julie.
It's June, but
June.
but I gotta be careful with that.
And y'all been married how long?
20 years.
20 years.
So
How
I'm
many
saying,
children? Sorry.
No,
My
you
bad.
good,
How many
good.
children?
2 girls and 1 boy.
2 girls, 1 boy. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
so I'm saying, there's a lot of reasons
I knew you favored the whites.
that
Got
so
him.
bad. lot of reasons that
Back to Kobe, I got it there.
lot of reasons that I can see legitimately that brothers like shy away from our black queens. They're too aggressive, they're too opinionated to this. They can be a little stubborn. But I think well, I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I think in my own marriage, in this uniqueness, I'm saying that those challenges is what I need to stay better, what I need to stay on my post. That accountability piece. The
Yes and no.
the routines
Like
of
super no.
Yeah.
Because
So
now,
yes and no.
this is why I say no.
Okay.
Do you need that validation?
well, it's not the validation. It's the she refuses to follow blindly. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but
So,
then
yes,
that
I
accountability
understand
supposed to
I
start
understand the
before
accountability
it
aspect.
goes to her. Like your accountability to yourself, because the
Right,
first
I mean,
the first
definitely.
law is self-preservation,
Definitely,
right?
it is first law of
So
nature.
I agree with the accountability. A black woman gonna hold you accountable, right? But
now it's a way that she does it that's not the traditional.
So it doesn't.
You don't need
No,
that.
it don't have to be a
Right,
bad
right,
way,
right,
but a
right.
black woman's gonna hold you accountable.
Definitely,
right?
definitely.
Because if you say you a man, she gonna expect you to be a man.
Definitely.
Right? That's what a black woman's gonna do. She's
Definitely.
not gonna petty you. She ain't gonna pander to that bullshit.
None of that.
You say
Oh,
you a man,
man.
you a man. If you say you gonna priest, provide, protect, and all that, she expects that, right?
Definitely.
So I think for me, right,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why I think a man should be a man.
Definitely.
She should not have to hold you accountable. You should be walking what you need to walk.
Definitely.
regardless.
Indeed, without
Definitely.
question.
I believe in doing the right thing when nobody's around.
That's true.
So if I preach to my clients and I preach to everybody, hey, even when you're not looking, you still gotta do the right thing.
That's right.
And that means being integral and being a man 110%, even when she's not on your ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know the garbage need to go out. You know the vibes. You know the bill need to be paid. You know what a man is supposed to do.
Get it
So
done.
yes, I understand the accountability, but at that aspect, you're opening the door for her to be leadership.
That's right.
You're opening the door, allowing her to be in a position of leadership. Yes, we are equal in a relationship. Yes, I do believe we are equal. I am the man, though. I am the prophet. I am the pastor of this house. Dick run this house.
I
You hear
wear
me?
the draws.
Yes,
Hey, man. Big ones
Right.
at that.
Huh?
I'm getting them smaller. But as of now, for me in my house,
It's big. Yeah.
but I do
Amen.
believe that, yes, there is a point where a woman should hold you accountable when she see you falling. But she shouldn't see you falling often.
That's right.
If you really who you say you are, and you
Correct.
walking in that shit,
Correct.
she ain't gotta catch you too much, cause you gonna catch you before she can ever catch you. You know what the old folks say. You know your feet stink before I do.
There you go.
But I believe in the helpmate, right? So
Right.
even
What's that?
with her being your helpmate, right?
Yeah. Okay.
She doesn't even have to hold you up on you being accountable.
Correct.
Right.
The thing is, by her being the helpmate, she's
You
going to
wanna
help
be
you
a
to a
right,
point
right.
where you're going
There you go.
Well, you gonna
get it
want
together
to.
anyway.
Well, look,
That's my point in
This
it.
kind
It's-
of goes into what was on Facebook this week. A submissive woman really runs a strong ass man.
100%.
Because what you just said, what I thought I heard was, I'll turn it up for a woman who's submissive more than I would for somebody giving me more mouth back.
For sure.
So she really run the house from that aspect. You know what I'm saying?
I made
And know
that
we get
statement
off
to-
subject about the color. But
No.
this really got good up
I
in
think
here.
we on the
We're
same point
page,
right
yeah,
now
for sure.
But I think more or less like the females overall run the roost.
Nah,
Period.
no.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
I ain't gonna believe.
I'm gonna
I
tell
ain't
you why.
going.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I
Because
provide for
regardless,
it. She
regardless of the situation that you end up finding yourselves in, you are always looking for that mate and to connect with them. Okay, whether that
If
be
you
intimately.
need that. Some men don't need that. That's what he was asking about the validation aspect.
But is that
Some-
validation or is that just knowing that you are gonna
You
be
got an
checking
Instagram,
in?
You see 700 niggas every day pouring water in the bottle, talking about, I got self-care now. I don't need a woman. I'm good. And they said, yes, it's funny, right?
Yeah.
But you moving into a place where men don't require a woman to tell him he is the shit no more.
Oh no!
I look in the
You don't
mirror, I
need
know
that.
vibes.
Yeah.
I look at my balance in my bank account. I look at what I'm driving and what I choose to drive of these a day.
Yeah.
I know what time it is. I don't need you to tell me I'm the shit no more.
Oh,
So
no.
I think that it changes. Yes, a man still needs a woman. Come on, right?
yeah.
I mean,
That's what- yes.
coming up, and I'm sure I know your
I'm just gonna
dad.
take these off.
I know
This
your
getting
dad.
good
I know
now.
his
Yeah.
father. I know his
Turn
dad.
it
Now
up.
watch this.
Yeah. Pull my
Coming up, we
girdle.
came up under militant men, right? With
Yes.
humility, right?
100%.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. All are
How
for
you?
sure.
Because I keep hearing you saying now, like this is now men don't need, like, bro, like when did it start getting into that? Like that really didn't start into the new era, the new gens. Like,
Yes, it's true.
so now really we just need to backtrack a little bit and now pay
Be
attention
men, yeah.
and allow
Okay.
the pillars to kind of teach us something, you know. And that's where we
follow.
strayed from. Like we strayed from those militant men actually telling us like, hey, young man, that ain't what you do, or
Pull your pants
that's
up.
a woman. Open that
Yeah.
door, or that,
Right.
or this,
Yeah.
this, and that.
You're right, because we too busy
We
not trying
lost
to check
that.
them.
100%.
We talk to old niggas.
We so stubborn and selfish. We don't even want to allow the young men to experience what we had.
And learning.
Because now we like,
Gatekeeping.
oh, these young niggas is too much for me.
Gatekeep.
What we was too much for them.
And they still
And they
sat
still
down
went,
and
man, I
talked
got
to
it.
you.
My twin called me yesterday and she was like, hey, Chris, you remember Mr. Hopkins? Remember when he used to smack you in
Mr.
your
Lee
head?
Wade.
You,
Yeah.
Like,
Lee
it was
Wade,
accountability,
Lee
bro.
Wade.
It was showing me the man way. We
Yeah.
stopped.
Yeah.
We stopped somewhere. And when I got in a situation with my nephew at church,
the YN.
that was the manship stopping. It was like, hold on, we used to get a whooping for this, so why you stopping me from doing what we
Yeah.
got a whooping for? Now this young man not gonna understand, so he gonna take it outside. He gonna do whatever the fuck you
But
wanna
it goes
do.
back into like we was just saying, bro. It's about you as
That's
a
deep.
man being a man and being accountable so that a woman does not have to check you. If you doing what you gotta do, she ain't gonna have to check you, bro. And that's YNs and old niggas all the way around.
But you do what you taught.
And a lot of us have been raised by single mamas.
You do what you taught.
We raised from broken households.
If we're honest, you asked a pretty critical question. You asked when did it stop? Here's the truth: we didn't realize that when we were being raised by strong men, it hadn't stopped yet. It was slowing down. What initially put the feet on the brakes was, I believe 78 we buried Dr. King. Then after that, 68. Yeah. So like 68 we buried King. What then happens is that now welfare is being implemented in our in the black household, and the only way the government would give the women the money is that the man had to be gone.
Separation.
And so once they started that separation of the black family,
It's so much deeper than that, and
Yeah.
it starts way back further than that, nigga. How about, nigga, you have 10, 11 kids, y'all slave with the slaves and all that, and then they shipping the man out the next day. Baby just born yesterday. The separation has been put into the black households. I mean, we could take this back further. Yes, there too as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The separate with aid and ADC and all that stuff they was giving out, the man have to be out the house. They've always tried to separate the black families. I mean, we know this.
But then that's what happened to the women. Now you got to fast track into right now. Now that the women were taught all of that, because it was blanked out. They blanked it out. So
Now they
now
gotta
they
be
had a
daddy
whole
and
nother
mama.
teaching. So now it's like, oh, no. What is it called? I'm independent. I don't need this. I don't need this.
You ain't capping, dog.
Yeah, like, but
Damn,
and
you
it
capping.
falls on everybody. At
Bro.
one point, it falls on man and woman
I watched
because
the
we
show.
need one another.
Bro, I watched
you know?
a show where
So,
a lady was talking about
black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, whatever it is.
She was
If
an old
we
black
all
lady.
need those real foundational morals and values. So I feel like we all just need to teach it. I don't care if you're married to a white woman. I don't
Yeah.
care if you're married to a black woman. I don't care if you're married to an Asian woman. No matter who you're with, as long as it's your mate and you're accountable for what's going on, it don't matter. Keep it rolling.
I like I said-
Salute to y'all.
No, I was watching the show, bro, and it was a black lady. And she was like, I don't know what's going on with these women nowadays. They don't even know how to bake pies. The simplest shit. Like, bro, back in the days, those were rites of passages between women in
100%.
our communities.
Same with
Learn how to cook.
learning how to change the tire for a boy.
yeah,
Niggas don't know how to do that.
No.
I'm calling
I did- I
AAA.
saw-
it's time changes.
I got
Yeah,
AAA
learn how to
insurance.
jump the
Everything. I'm
car.
calling right now.
Yo,
I will call right now
you
just to
could,
make sure they're here before we leave.
But you could though.
What you talking about? What the
have
fuck
to.
is that?
Yeah.
Change a diaper? A what?
tire?
A
Yeah.
tire? I don't know how to do that either.
He
Yo.
said he put a tire and a diaper together.
I don't know how to do either one of them motherfuckers. That's the crazy part. I
Yo.
will call for backup. That's when I got a gold card with 3 A's on the motherfucking vote.
That's wild.
I have
I'm
never
with it.
seen, bro. Do you know who my father is?
No.
My father is
You do.
Bishop Greg Davis. He has never changed a tire in front of me. This nigga has never taught me how to change tire.
No joke.
Be real.
Wow.
I know how to go to the cleaners. I know how to.
My dad showed
I'm
me
a
how to
book-
change a tire, dog.
No, nigga. It was not in my household.
Wow.
My
He
mama,
like, no, I got to sit in the back.
my mama said, here go your AAA card. Call them
Yeah,
niggas
for
because
sure.
I ain't teach you either.
Wow.
So you gotta miss. Yeah.
I'm not saying, but in
But it's
one
a million
direction,
niggas just like me though.
I
That's
get
the
that,
thing.
but
I ain't
also
alone.
you're being
That
taught
goes
something
back
also
to taught.
But
What you were taught is how you proceed.
100%, and I agree with that. But
100%.
also at the same time, there's a thing called resources. You were taught how to utilize the resources.
100%.
Most kids don't even get the option of resource.
100%.
Some of these kids don't even have
No,
access.
they had paper for sure, but they just didn't
But
have
see-
time and attention.
And that's true because, like, you're looking at a population that's kind of divided in such a split that it's like 33% understands, 33% is completely lost, and then 33% are already raised above the game because they got people that already helped them, that paved that way. And then you got the 1%ers who are above all that. So now that's what we're looking at. So if we're that divided in a sense, we need the men that, honestly, for me, the men that stepped up for me when I was hot-headed. I'm talking crazy hot. I had men that literally looked at me and said, sit down, shut up, don't say shit. You just gonna listen. And when they said that to me, sometimes it's like, I don't want to listen. And they said, try me then. And right then and there, I got to find out the difference between men and boys.
Shout out to my Uncle Al.
No, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
And when
Man strength ain't
that
no joke.
situation happens, it cultivates men. And then at the same time, when you have women that are raising boys by themselves,
Yeah.
and they got to raise those boys to mature on their own, I mean, a different dynamic happens. You either become lovers or you become haters or you become followers. But at the same time, the strong women that help you pave that way, you end up becoming better fathers.
Or niggas going to gang banging because they feel like it's
That's
a
true.
part of what I miss. You know what I'm saying?
leadership, a
it's
covering.
yeah. Family, a brotherhood. You know,
You
so
know?
it's that lack of having that black father in the house will take you a couple different kind of ways, you know. Or just a father in general. We're gonna take race off it because I want to get back on this race thing you got going here.
Bet.
This, so y'all been married 20 years, right?
Yeah. Been married 20 years.
3 children with her, right?
How this dynamic works, we have one together. So she had one, I had one, and then we had one together.
So you have 3 as a family.
Correct.
though. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you raise them all the good old black way.
Oh my goodness. I don't know.
Versus you don't whoop ass, right?
Oh man, look. Bottom line is, I'm the tough one in the house. I'm the tough one. Bottom line,
Disciplinarian.
Oh yeah. So if you're not putting the dishes, not doing the other chores around the house, I'm on your ass. So I'm like, dude, why ain't this get done? What's this with this? And I'm actually up there because I'm a little meticulous like that. I
I got OCD.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Clearly, it was knocked in his head.
One angle off, I'm looking at you
That is
cockeyed.
crazy.
But on some real though, but I'm the more or less like we talk about it. I'd rather get you to understand why you've messed up than to actually slap you. Because like in the past, I would get hit and it'd just be like, what I do?
I still don't even know why.
Yeah. No explanation.
Yeah.
So I gave them more reasons and I gave them understanding, but I was like, get your ass back out there and go do it. It's got to be done.
So you grew up in a black household where you got discipline.
Oh yeah.
So you sure when like the lady was like, you know what, you hit my motherfucking kids, I'm calling the police. I'm white. She taught your ass some discipline.
My wife's so cool though, because like the way that I was, she allowed somebody like me to find myself. She didn't have to tell me how to become me or become a man. She was more or less like patient in the sense of like, I can see how angry you are. Her mother also was the type that like, her mother came to me and actually held my hand and knew that you're hurt, you're damaged.
Yeah.
And
That's all it be.
you know,
Yeah.
Bro, when I talk to my clients and they be coming in, they be high-headed and mad, and I can tell they can whoop some ass. First time, I can tell the difference, right? I can tell the puffers, right?
oh yeah.
Versus the I will whoop your ass, right? So the ones that be in there and they be like, I swear to God, bro, I will fuck her up. I be like, oh, I know. And then the ones that I know they bullshit, I be like, you ain't about to do shit. And they be
Yeah.
like, you talking? I swear I'll leave right now. Hang your shit up because you ain't about to do shit. You don't bother me. I can tell them motherfuckers, right? But a lot of them just need a hug.
Yeah.
A lot of people have not been able to get the emotional like covering and like stability that they need, bro. Like I feel the same way. When I was younger, I used to want to fight all the time. I used to be mad. I used to always be angry, and it was just because I felt like I didn't have my father in my life.
Okay.
And I felt like he wasn't there the way I wanted him to be there. Not that he wasn't there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't what I spoiled, little whatever, didn't get what I felt like I needed, right? So I grew up. I didn't eat.
I'm just saying.
You'd
be like, y'all
talk-
want to make some French fries?
You wanna
I don't eat French fries. Let's go outside and fight.
You want to go on your journey? Okay, because everybody knows my journey. So I did. I used to be just like, I used to be a fighter. So,
I feel
you know
that.
what I'm saying? I used to be crazy-ish. But never MMA crazy.
Okay.
But more of like,
Okay.
more like, we can fight, bitch. Like, I don't, like, if you, we can go outside, like, anytime, and we gonna still come back in here and eat these French fries. But
And
I
smoke.
ain't
Yeah,
about to
cool.
disrespect
You know,
me.
what's so strange is like when I fought, that was my way of righting my wrongs. So like as angry as I was, I used to go in there and I used to be like the way that I would fight, the way my mind was, it wasn't about the fighter at all. I used to sit there and say, this is my talk with God. And that's the strangest thought. And I used to have that thought thinking like when I went there, everything that I did leading up to this point was my test.
That's amazing.
So I would train myself because like I knew that I was going to be facing monsters, killers that were better than me. I knew that. And what I was fortunate to realize is that I'm the hero of that time. I'm the one that wanted to be like the role model. And I wanted to actually be the first like fighter on Sesame Street. That's how I wanted to be. You know,
Sesame Street, cuz?
yo, everybody
I
that
love
was
it.
famous was on Sesame
They
Street,
were, though.
bro.
Think
crazy.
about it,
Hulk
cuz.
Hogan, Macho Man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was
No
on
cap.
there.
I mean, yeah.
But I'm telling you, all the
Never mind.
celebrities that were worth something
that
ended up on Sesame Street. I'm just
About to
saying.
get tough right there.
But so that kind of that rolled into what I was gonna ask. Is that how you implement your spiritual side into your profession?
Yes.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I don't claim any type of religions or anything like that.
I knew you was one of them.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like you
Well,
was
that's why I
atheist or
said
something.
spiritual.
Oh, no,
When
I'm
I
an
said
open-minded
spiritual,
person.
I didn't say religious. I said
Yeah,
spiritual.
I'm a spiritual type, and I believe in bigger things.
Bro,
I
you
believe in
different,
things that
bro.
are out there. Yeah.
You different from a lot of people I met, and I feel like I like the fact that you're open, right, and you don't run from weird questions. Because sometimes I be throwing zingers just to see how a person
that's
reacts.
cool.
Right? That's a part of podcasting. I
Yeah.
feel like, but I like the way you handle and you respond to things. That lets me know that you have a lot of emotional like intelligence. I like that about you, man, because I
Much
done thrown some weird
appreciated.
shit like, hold on, let's go back to the white woman. Let's go back there again. Now I'm going to keep hitting the white woman. And you're like, yeah, I can have a very great conversation about the choices that I made and why I made these choices.
100%.
I like that about you, dude.
Much appreciated.
What's the big, if you don't mind, or you might mind, so I'll just throw it out there, biggest payday you've had or whatever from MMA? I mean, you don't have to put a number on it.
So yeah, no, it's all good. Like legit, I think the Japanese are my favorite out of all the different paydays that I ever had.
but they pay like they weigh.
Cambodia is really good.
The coolest thing about it
got a
is like
horrible
when
joke.
they got a briefcase or something like that, and they just slide it across to you and
Right.
like let you look, and they just snap it open, and you open the briefcase, and it's just 50K sitting in the stack. And you just sitting there, and they look at you, and you look at them, and it's like that type of movie situation. They just chop it up and make it fun for you. I love it. You know,
You feel like it was worth your while, like
Yo.
just over your career. You think all of the fights, is like you think it was worth it? Would you change anything about it?
I would change some things.
What would you change?
I would more or less try to hope that there was a person like me for me.
That goes back to the question I asked you earlier about what would you tell a young person about if they wanted to get into MMA?
Now, if a person wanted to get into MMA, see, I just had this conversation before we even started this. It was like, for all the kids that are coming up, like the teenagers, they have a perception of this sport that is like miscued. It's like misguided, and they believe in all the hype and all this stuff that with the fighters that you have nowadays. Let's look at WWF for a second, just for a split second. You knew those iconic people. You knew who Macho Man was. You knew who Ultimate Warrior was. Sure. You used to follow them, and those used to be the heroes of the sport. MMA changes fighters just like they change their socks.
Yeah. Ain't no NIL deals over there.
Yeah.
Doc.
Yo, but still, you don't have these role models out here that are like speaking truth to these kids. So like they
In the
think-
beginning, it was though. Back
Yes.
in the day, bro. I
Yes.
remember. I mean, I can remember the faces, but I don't remember the names of like the black dude.
You talk about
Bald
Rampage.
head dude. Yeah,
You talk
whatever it
about
was.
like Kevin Randleman. You're talking about like
The original days of
Yeah,
UFC
Chuck
and all
Liddell,
that kind of
Tito Ortiz. You got like, you got BJ Penn. I grew up with those guys. Frank Shamrock, Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, Ken Shamrock.
You know,
Remember Shamrock, he wrestled.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got the legend of all legends is Hoist Gracie. You know, so when you're talking about like those are the pioneers that started that, Dan Severn and all those guys.
Dan Severn, I
Tank
remember
Abbott,
that.
they started
Tank
the
Abbott, I
wave
remember
for
that
that.
name.
And then when I walked in, this is like when UFC is on like the VHS back then.
Yeah.
I hit the time where we on DVD. So we still had those.
Right.
You know? So then later on moving up, I'm the type of guy that like in this game, it was all about the fight. Okay.
Yeah.
You used to go in there. I made a name knocking people out, and they were like, yo, get Tony on the phone. Yo, come pull Tony down here. So I would go from Chicago, Ohio, Indiana, Wisconsin, Florida. Then I was out in Cali for the longest time. San Bernardino, Santa Fe, all the way down to LA, and then back down to San Diego, and then like out to Canada. Then I moved out to Canada. In Canada, I was like Calgary, Alberta. Then why can't I think of it? It's like out west over by New York, Montreal.
Okay.
You know, so then like all that in between.
Vancouver and all that shit.
Yeah. And so like then, you know, going out to different countries after that, traveling to Japan, doing 8 tours in Japan. You know, I'm talking like, yes, UFC sounds great, but a lot of these kids don't realize you could go abroad and there are so many other shows.
Yeah.
Okay? And so like then so if I'm looking at a fighter that wants to get into the game now, I would tell you you have 2 choices. You could go in the game, you could sign up to 1-800-I-WANNA-FIGHT, and they can put you in the gym, you fight for 3 weeks, and you be like, I'm straight. I'm whooping everybody in the gym. That's great. They get you your first fight, you might fight a guy like me. And you wouldn't even realize it's coming. Your trainer knows me, but the point is you want to fight, so you can be the fighter that gets used by the sport. And then you got the kind, for me, I didn't learn this until later in the game when I started worrying and learning about the business. When I started learning about the business, that's when my mind matured. I used to be the fighter type, and you ever listen to a fighter? If you listen to them, not all of us are very articulate.
No, yeah.
Okay, you don't give a fighter
Sound
a
like
microphone.
goddamn Rocky.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I got it 1 few times. I'm okay.
you know. So
Everything's good. Everything's fine. Son footsteps.
and I gotta be real. It's like shout out to Tyson, but I'm like, he only gets a couple lines in a movie. I'm just saying.
he could.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we just took us for a show on the road back in July.
man.
But
That's my tiger.
70
Yo.
billion for some bullshit. Go ahead.
Hey, it is what it is. My man did what he had to do.
What's
but
your
I
proudest
like
fight?
him, man.
What's the fight that you're most
Proudest
proud of
fight.
before we wrap it up? Yep.
Oh yeah, New Jersey. So I was in New Jersey. So my son had to be like, give or take, about 2-3 years old at the most 3. So no, it was actually before that. He was 18 months because he just started walking. And we're in the back room. This is the time that I had my hair bright red. Now the guy that I fought, he was fighting for Tap Out back in the day.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys know anything
I
about
remember
Tap Out used to be
For
around.
sure. Yeah, it was.
And dude fought for the show at the time, and his name was Mike. I can't remember his bald headed dude. Campbell. That's it. Mike Campbell. So we get there. We're fighting at the casino over there. Now, when I get to the fight, and he had me pinned down against the cage. You'll see the fight on YouTube. And he had me pinned against the cage for a second, and I'm sitting there thinking, my son's sitting right out the cage. And I'm thinking, I got my wife, I got my daughter there with me at the time. And right? And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I didn't come all the way over here just to let him watch me fight.
Yeah,
Watch me lose.
Like, you ain't about to kick my ass in front of my son.
So I remember getting back up, and somehow
win.
he couldn't figure out how to put me down. So I was like, I got back up.
Right.
Soon as I got back up, it was like a steam like that flew off my hair, and I started thinking, game over. That's it. And I marched him down, and he ended up getting knocked out. Dude got knocked out so bad, he got back up, said, you ain't knocked me out. I was like, nah, bro, you were knocked
did the
out.
Adrian Broner
He was
like-
so mad. Then they started throwing cans. They started throwing stuff. We had to get escorted to the back room with security. Because, like, everybody, it was like a fight. They were coming at me and my kid. And I'm like, this is serious, right?
Yeah.
They really want to fight. So my man came into my dressing room and said, you ain't knocked me out, bro.
That's crazy.
He goes, nah, you didn't knock me out. And I thought he was going to come back there and start throwing hands right there. I was like ready to square up with him. So
You sound like you still love the sport, bro. I can hear it in your voice.
He
like you
just
still
said
love
he
the
want
love
to
of the
do
sport,
a bare
bro.
knuckle.
yeah,
you sound like
I'm
you
going to
still love
fight 2 more fights.
Invite us so we can come cover.
Motor City Casino is where I'm trying to get because I haven't fought there.
Carlos,
there.
get him in,
We'll
Carlos.
come out there. And do
Carlos already knows I want to go.
Tell
come out,
Carlos,
do
man,
some-
come on, Los, get him down there.
some
Hey,
ringside,
bam.
some
As
ringside.
soon as I get
foolishness.
we get the right deal, we're gonna be down there. That's where we're fighting.
Yeah.
And then once I get that, I'm going over to bare knuckle. And once I go to bare knuckle, that's gonna be the end of my
How many
career.
more fights you think you got in you? No did.
If I was really serious, I'd tell you right now.
At 39 years old, right?
At 39 years old,
Mm-hmm.
Bernard Hopkins, what was he? 44, 45, something like that. I would say if I was gonna stick in the game, I probably got about 4 fights in me. I say 4 because I don't know who they will bring. So
They need to be bringing at least 25 apiece. That's at least 100,000 to go sit down.
Shit, he like, what, 150,000 you mean?
yo, let's just be real. I do it for the sport, but I also do it for my legacy. And what my real legacy is for shaping role models. I paved the way for kids to have the right role models.
You got a nonprofit.
The right message. Yes, I do have a nonprofit.
Shout out to nonprofit.
For sure. And everything you got going on.
Oh, no joke. So you can catch me, Lionheart MMA Detroit. That's on Facebook and Instagram. My nonprofit is called Shaping Role Models. I teach character and leadership development, more so for middle school, high school, with some adults in that sense. We just kind of started that nonprofit just last year. So I've worked with Orchards, I've worked with Head Start, I've worked with Focus Hope, and it's been going strong ever since. So the character and leadership development was for the high school. So like when seniors and some of the sports athletes and things like that, we help them cultivate themselves, whether it's leaning towards understanding business or it's leaning towards just mentorship in a sense of being a father figure or a male role model in a sense of kids that don't have those. So I've had the pleasure of working with kids from all over, from like Lincoln High School, Centerline.
I graduated from Lincoln.
Oh, no joke. Utica, Shelby. I mean, I've kind of been all over Macomb County just in general. And then I was moving towards the inner city. And when I was working with inner city, I was working with charter schools. And at the time then, I was teaching like art and computer science and stuff. And so then, like, now that I'm more independent, I'm just going on tours. And I'm going to different schools, talking to kids. More so, like, not just talking. Like, you want to give them an action plan, you know? So give them more ideas. Because, like, you remember back in the day when we were in school and you had, like, you know, people that come in for job day or something like that. Back then, they used to actually bring in a lot of different people.
Yeah, they did.
You know, for career day. Yeah, that's what it was. It was career day. And, like, I heard, like, my son, this was, like, maybe 4th or 5th grade. You know, I'm in his class with my belts and everything like that. And I'm like, yo, don't become an MMA fighter. right. No, seriously. Don't do that. That's a bad idea.
Let them know your Instagram and where to find you.
So,
at.
Lionheart MMA Detroit, Instagram and Facebook.
All right. Quinn, we're going to go ahead and get out of here.
I'm Quinn Bell on Facebook. That's it.
Quinn Bill on Facebook.
Man, that's so crazy. This old man has only a
I only
Facebook.
have a Facebook.
Quinn will be here in and out, you guys.
Watch.
Stay
When
tuned
he get
to the
that IG,
season.
he gonna be like,
Listen, season 4 is starting out on a bang. It's the second episode. You know we got to give our pastoral close to Caesar. Caesar, go ahead, do your pastoral close so we can go ahead and get out of here. Yes,
All right,
Lord.
well, all right.
Yes, yes.
Listen, I see that the
Yes,
tech
yes.
group back in the back is giving me the 2-finger warning, huh?
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is just say it very slow so you can understand it. I like that, musician.
Yes.
Don't get beside yourself, all right?
Yes,
Amen.
sir.
But
Yes,
listen, where you can find me is where they found Jesus at. Sometimes
Yes.
you can't find him until you close your eyes and get on your knees, all right?
Yes.
I don't want you to follow me. I want you to follow Christ. I want you to follow Christ because I can't lead you to nowhere but the water. And sometimes the water can be wine.
Yes.
All right? So I want you to be able to choose on your own.
Yes. Choose ye this
Hey,
day.
huh? But listen, my name is Caesar, Cezah, not like the Caesars, pizza. But Caesar in the terms of me, find me anywhere you want to find me. Google me. You'll find me that way. But listen,
Let's
go
see,
make
give
sure
me
that you go in
pastoral look.
5. Listen, it's 5 ways to do this.
Yes.
Find God, find God,
And
find God, find
God.
God, and go and find God in
And
peace.
go with God.
Go with God.
All right, y'all.
Go with God.
That was Pastor C's pastoral close for the week.
Amen.
I want to thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Cobain Report. I am grateful to be here at our new home, Nice Media Studios. You guys can check them out on Instagram and all those other things. I'm doing shameless plugs because I really appreciate them. They did not have to let us in, but they did. Remember that. Detroit Celebrity is what we rocking. Y'all know I'm going to change it up every week. My girl, Marsha Wills. We got the...
Fallon Ariel out
Fallon
of California via Detroit. Love you, baby.
That's right. Caesar is going with God as he normally does.
Amen.
Check out my new album on iTunes, Rock Cobain, Best of Me, ROCC_Cobain.
Do you got any merch or anything that they can
Oh
find?
wow! Actually, I'm in the middle of developing the brand right now as we speak.
So y'all stay tuned.
Yeah,
Stay
sure.
tuned to his page for merch. All right?
Right
So
on.
as I always say, y'all check us out next week. We will be back.
We'll be back.
And as I always say, it's a wrap, bitch.
Tell by the way that I walk that I'm blessed. See the love of God in my flex, I'm so blessed. 20K just on my chain.